Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge. This is a recap. I'm redoing this one from yesterday. I didn't like the way yesterday came out. It was like botched, really, the way I felt about it. But let's just start over and pretend that video didn't occur. All right, so we have two American brandies, and they're produced somewhere in America, and I know where they're bottled. So this is Bankers Club Select Brandy. I bought this at Total Wine and More in Metairie, Louisiana. It's out of stock right now. Well, they might have it. I checked yesterday, might have it back in today. Like I said, introduced in 1969. It's got this medieval looking guild house label, like a medieval guild. I like it a lot, the label, a lot. So I did see another label that said French brandy, so they might have different ones floating around that they release from time to time. But this is the one I bought. I wanted to get the glass bottle, but they only had this bottle size, and it was about $21.99 when I bought it. I think now it's $22.99. I'm pretty sure it was like $21.99. All right, but anyway, the competitor is Delacour, introduced in 1988 by some company. Don't know who. Might have been Luxco all along, but it's Luxco now. Luxco bottles this in Missouri. It says right there, bottled by Luxco Incorporated, St. Louis, Missouri. Very smooth, pale V.S.O.P. Napoleon brandy, they're calling it. It's got a label that looks very similar to another more popular cognac brandy, you might notice. Don't see this around either. This one is not common, and this one is not common. I bought this at Savannah discount, and yeah, it runs about their price point is about the same. So you're not going to save money buying one over the other. They're about the same price. But they do have this one at a lot of French Quarter restaurants for some reason. I don't know the reason. They might have got a deal. Like Delacour might have made a deal with the distributor in New Orleans to make sure all the nice restaurants in the French Quarter have this for happy hour. And they'll all state Delacour with Delacour brandy, like a sidecar, brandy Alexander, brandy old fashioned at Galatoire's, the Gautreau's, Broussard's, Hermes Bar, and so forth. You just look them up, look at all of them. They all showing that brandy. So, all right, let's do it right this time. Not get all disordered like yesterday evening. But that video's deleted. I just pretend like it didn't occur. Sometimes I do delete videos because I make mistakes, and then I'm like, I'll just reshoot it. Like I did that with that. Did a video for Depth Perception. I did a revisit of Depth Perception Super Strong India Pale Ale from Terrapin, and I didn't like the way it came out, so I reshot it. I didn't change my opinion. Not really. I mean, it's the same. It was good, and it's still good. Okay, but that happens. All right. 1969, 1988. So nearly 20 years difference in date of introduction. Do a look. Let's look at the appearance. Delacour is slightly darker, a little more deep copper, and this one is lighter copper, but they're not far apart. If I can get this thing to focus. Yeah, there we go. You can see a little difference. Not much, though. All right, so let's go with the screen share. So we got the Bankers Club line from Laird and Company, bourbon. I've seen that, but they had it at Total Wine and More. I didn't buy it. I'm too bad on bourbon. Kentucky straight bourbon. There's the Bankers Club Brandy 80 proof. The one I wanted to get, the glass bottle I wanted to buy, but I couldn't find it. Liter. Blended 80 proof. I have a bottle of that. Same thing, plastic, unfortunately. Gin. For it. They might have all of these at Total Wine for all I know. I've never seen the Scotch. Gold rum, silver rum, blended Scotch. Certainly don't recall seeing that. Vodka. Yeah, I think they have it at Total Wine, if I'm not mistaken, or they did have it before. So these are just common. If you want to call them value price, that would be accurate. Echo it. Here's Delacour from Luxco. Delacour, what does that mean? From the heart. Delacour, from the heart. Napoleon Brandy V.S.O.P. V.S.O.P. typically is 4 to 6 years. So you got the V.S., the base model. That's like 2 to 4 years. V.S.O.P. generally 4 to 6 years. And XO is 6 to 10. Not a law. It's just what they tend companies to follow. So you can't say, I'm going to court. No, it's not a regulation. It's not like straight bourbon that has to be aged at least 2 years in new charred oak barrels. No, VS, VSOP, and XO is simply just something that the companies use, that they, it's a kind of a regimentation that they generally follow. And some companies don't follow it at all, and they don't use those terms because they don't think that people are really maybe following it that closely, and they'll just say 3-star brandy, 4-star brandy, and 5-star. They'll use that term, 5-star, 2-star, 3-star, 5-star. That's usually used in England. In England, they'll use those terms more than VSOP and that kind of thing. But that's all right. But like I say, you don't have to use the term at all. It has no legal meaning. Looks like rain is on the way. Woo! Look at this. We'll see if it hits. All right, but anyway, let's see if I can tell them apart. I got to remember, the Bankers Club is very dry. Dry. This one is going to have sweeter, like raisins, maybe golden raisins. Craft Beer Tasker says Laird and Company claims to be America's oldest distillery. They do? That's interesting. I know they've been doing apple brandy, Applejack, as they call it, for a long time. So they might be. I guess if they're making that claim, they better be, right? Okay. Scobeyville, New Jersey. I would like to visit the place. And maybe I will next time I'm up there. Can't say when I'll be up in that area again. Been 3 years. Yeah, it smells like basic grapes. Basic grapes. But not bad grapes. Just a little basic. All right. Not getting... Well, yes, I am getting some oak. Now, where are these actually produced? This we do not know, because neither company claims to make it. They only claim to bottle it. So could both of these be coming from the same producer? Yes, they could. They could be. So, I'd like to find out who are all the companies that produce brandy in America. I guess we'll never find out, but that would be a good little research project, would it not? I think that would be. It'd make an excellent little research project. A comprehensive list of all brandy distilleries in America, in the USA I'm talking about. Not Canada or Mexico or the Bahamas, I'm talking about just the United States. All right, taste time. Cheers. Buffalo Trace also claims to be the oldest distillery. Well, there you go. They've only been called Buffalo Trace since 1992. They had a different name before that. Shenley Industries Distillery. You can kind of see why they changed the name. Shenley Industries Distillery. Yeah, sweet golden raisins. Any oak? I don't know about the oak. It's just kind of like you took a bunch of golden raisins and you had one of those pesto, whatever you call those things, and you ground it up, made like a puree with it, something. Yeah, it's all right. If you ever see Delacour, I'd say, I'm sorry, I'd say buy it. Pretty good stuff. I'm glad I bought it. It'll last a long time because it's going to take me forever to get through these bottles. Huh. Doesn't taste as dry as when I first tried the Bankers Club, but it is dry. It finishes pretty dry, like not sweet, dry, crisp. If it was a lager beer like a Coors Light, but those golden raisins. Now you say golden raisins. That's from the white grapes, maybe. I think isn't that right? I don't know. What do I know for raisins? And even if I did, wouldn't even matter because the other thing. But I don't know a lot about raisins. I know Sunmade is a popular brand, but these are dark because they're aged in oak, and they might be adding caramel color. Because if you read your regulations, United States government regulations, brandy can have coloring added, and they don't even have to talk about it. They don't have to put on the label or ever let you know that. And they can add flavoring, and don't have to tell you about it. Now, one good thing I'll say about Sazerac, and I can say a lot of bad things about Sazerac because they do some questionable production, but I mean, they do some great stuff too. But the Buffalo Trace people, Sazerac owns Buffalo Trace, but they're really good about putting on the label if they add coloring or flavoring. They'll just straight up tell you. It's like they got no shame. They'll just say with natural flavors and caramel color. They just put it right there on the label, which is good because they're letting you know that it's kind of played with, kind of messed with, not pure. Do I know that these have coloring? No, I don't know that. Do I know that they have flavoring? No, I don't. They don't appear to have it. Like if they have flavoring added, I don't taste it. It might, but I just don't taste it. Just tastes like grape liquor. Excuse me, which is exactly what it is. They're both pretty smooth, easygoing, mellow. Now, what's better, brandy or whiskey? I guess you'll have to figure that out. It's up to whatever you think is better. It's your personal preference. You can't really even say one is better than the other. They're just, it'd be like saying what's better, orange juice or apple juice. They're just juice. It's whatever you prefer. Maybe you like them equally. So brandy or whiskey, I kind of, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know. What do I prefer? I can't say. No, I'm not sure. It's not worth thinking about. Guess we are going to get some rain. Thought we wouldn't. We've kind of had enough. That's pretty sweet. I don't see how that could be the Bankers Club, which was so very dry. But I better double check. But that's pretty sweet. Oh, sweet like it's kind of like grape jelly. Yeah, that's got to be the Bankers Club. I'm gonna say this is Bankers Club. Oh, what do you know? It's the Delacour. In my botched video last night, I kind of had them confused, but that was just like all kind of quick, crazy quote. I just canceled. Like I said, deleted. But Yeah, they're pretty close, which is probably why I couldn't tell them apart. But these are tough, man. I mean, these brandies, I'm not making excuses. I'm not trying to say, oh, well, it's not my fault. I got it wrong, but don't blame me. No, I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying they're tough. That's all. They're tough. They're tough. So it's not going to be like when I did that WD blended scotch, which was so poor quality. I mean, I never could get that wrong. That was just outlandishly inferior product. But then this one's not. You see, that's where it gets difficult because this one is right there in the mix. It's really good quality, and you might laugh that off and say, you're crazy. You're crazy on this channel. You pay $22.99, and you're talking about it's just decent quality with all the rest. Well, I do believe that, and I think if I had any more Christian Brothers or E&J or Paul Masson, your three main brands that everybody sells, it would be the same thing. It'd be difficult. I mean, those are all kind of like the same. If you go get Paul Masson, Christian Brothers, and E&J and interchange them, now assuming you're getting VS, or V.S.O.P. I mean, let's be careful about that. I don't think there's a Christian Brothers EXO. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. There's certainly a V.S.O.P. And you went one to the other, you would have a very difficult time telling them apart. And the funny thing is, the availability is almost identical for those three, and the price point is almost always the same. Like whatever the price is, it's like identical, So just, but I'm not going to go. I don't think I'm going to go repurchase all those. I got other brandies I want to buy. I have a lot of others I'd like to try, and I never get to it. I mean, I get to it, but I don't really get to it. I want to get to it. So I got it wrong, but yeah, well, that's just too bad for me. So what, we one win and one loss, I think. Oh well. Well, I'll try to finish with a winning record on this. Am I confident? Well, I was confident, but now that dryness seems to be fading and sweetness is coming in. Could it be because it breathed and it got air in it and everything? It could be. Could have something to do with that. They do seem to change sometimes when you keep getting down in the bottle. It's kind of change. I found out when a company claims to be the oldest, there usually seems to be a caveat that goes unmentioned. Right. There's a little more to it. Now, Yuengling claims to be the oldest brewery, and I've never seen anybody challenge them on that. And so I guess it's true. And Schaefer always claimed to be the oldest lager beer. They never claimed to be the oldest brewery because they weren't. They were from 1842, but they were the oldest lager beer. Okay, so, but they weren't the oldest beer. The oldest beer is Ballantine's Lord Chesterfield Ale. I checked the trademark. I looked at trademark data from the United States Trademark Office, and it was showing Lord Chesterfield Ale. The trademark was acquired for that ale in 1829. I said, well, it must be true. And I checked the trademark office for these two. Bankers Club, 1969. Delacour, 1988. That's how you can find out how old it is, because they'll apply for a trademark and then it'll go into effect, and then it'll tell you the first time they ever used it in commerce. So like give the exact date. Oftentimes it'll say like May 14th, 1989, first date. They like have a record, the first time they ever used that trademark in commerce. So, but it might be a year or two before they put it out that they were applying for a trademark, meaning they wanted to protect the trademark. They wanted to make sure somebody didn't find out about it and then copy it, like what happened with Pop-Tarts. Because Post made this big announcement, like in, I don't know, it was like 1965. They were saying, we're going to put out this new breakfast item called a toaster pastry. And it was like in the, the wrapper, and then, but it's still in foil now. And then it was in the wrapper, and then you could put it in the toaster and eat it like a little well, was a pastry. But then Kellogg's was, these companies always be spying on each other. So Kellogg's was watching them, and they said a toaster pastry. Like, what is that? And they kept reading about it, like the little bit that came out. It's like, well, could we make this also? And so they developed it, and they did like crash research, and they kept trying it. And I think they were saying they tried it like hundreds of times, had all their scientists working on it. And so like a couple of weeks before toaster pastries hit the market, here comes Kellogg's with Kellogg's Pop-Tarts. And it was a big hit. And then Post cereal company was like, why do we even talk about it? But of course, theirs are very popular too. So that's like the two big brands, Pop-Tarts and toaster pastries. But they that's a good example of that. You see. All right, Avion tequila. I got this at River Ridge Discount. It's renamed. It got a new owner now, so it's called River Ridge Wine and Spirits, I think. But it's on Louisiana Highway 48, the Great River Road National Scenic Highway, next to the Mississippi River. Well, right close to it. I mean, you can walk to the Mississippi River from the store in a couple of minutes. But my friend David was like, let's go check that out, see what they have. I didn't really have anything we wanted that day, honestly. But on Saturdays in Louisiana, that's the big tasting day. Like all these liquor stores, meaning convenience stores, but all these stores will have somebody in there giving tastings. It's like every Saturday, all during the afternoon. So we went in there, and there was a table set up, a display with Avion tequila. And the girl said, and it's usually very beautiful girls, but she says, would you like to try this tequila? And I said, I never had tequila in my life. I never tried tequila, but I said, I'll try it. And I tried it. I was like, oh, I can't believe how smoky it is. It was so amazing, the smokiness. And then my friend David tried it, and he was like, oh yeah, man, this stuff is good. And so then we didn't buy the tequila. It's kind of expensive. Well, I mean, it's like $55, but that got me into getting tequila. So and then she said, would you like a t-shirt? Because they were giving away t-shirts, obviously promotion, cotton, all cotton, very comfortable. And so if I got my size large and he got the extra large. So that was really, really cool. Now, this Saturday coming up, it could be the same thing. Like I've been to Star, and they had Seagram's. They're giving Seagram's gin. They would say, you want to try Seagram's gin? Well, I've had it. And one guy came off the street, and he was like, oh, I think I'd like to try some of that stuff. And the girl was like, okay. And then he tried it. He's like, yeah, that's a pretty good product. I'm like, yeah, I bet you've had that before. Like earlier today, maybe not Seagram's, maybe it was Crystal Palace or Taka Gin. Actually, Taka Gin is pretty good. All right, so you, says Burley Sullivan, and I'm going to say cheers back to you. All right, well, that's it. We'll be back in about an hour and 10 minutes with an examination of any Bell's beers, and then tomorrow morning at dawn, God willing, be back with another American brandy taste challenge. Hopefully I'll get it right.